I am going to go over our writing assignment for this week. We are going to be working on what's called Roll a Story. And for this assignment, you will need to borrow a dice from one of the board games that you have at home. So I found one from our junior Monopoly game. And what you're going to do, you have a little dice sheet to go off of here. So the first time you roll your dice, you're going to decide who your character is. So I'm going to roll my dice, and it looks like we got a 6. So my character is going to be a grumpy bear. So over here on my graphic organizer, for main character, I'm going to write in a grumpy bear. Then I'm going to roll my dice again to figure out what my setting will be. And it looks like I rolled inside a cave. How fitting is that? Inside a hidden cave. Okay, and I need to roll my dice one last time to decide what my problem is going to be. And looks like our grumpy bear found an unlucky penny. So on problem over here, I'm going to write found an unlucky penny. All right, once you have those 3 things completed, your next step is to come up with your main ideas. So here you're going to be brainstorming and just write a list of your ideas, and then you're going to write a title. After you complete your graphic organizer, at that point I would like you to take out a piece of lined paper and write your own story. So when you turn this into me, you're going to have a completed graphic organizer or rough draft, and you will also have your final written copy on your lined paper. Now, as we are doing this, my wonderful 3rd graders, I want you to think back to last week's Stretch It Out assignment. As you are writing your story, this is what I want you to do inside your story. Focus on your WH question words and, of course, how. And you're going to answer some of these questions. Like, for example, your character. What did it look like? How did your character sound? Is your character big or small? Okay, what about your problem? What happened at the end of the story? Why did it happen? How did the problem make you feel? Or your setting, what did it remind you of? How did your setting smell or taste? Where did it happen? Okay, make sure you add these good details in and stretch out those sentences. I'm going to be looking for you to do these things in your writing. And my 4th graders, last week we practiced dialogue. So in your stories, I expect to see some good dialogue. Now, here in front of me, we have put said to bed. Oftentimes in our writing, we use the word said over and over again, and this kind of makes our stories boring. So here is a list of alternative words that you can use in place of said. This will help make your story more interesting and give you better details. So I encourage you to try using some of these words in your own stories. I would also like to go over a couple things with you. Now, with dialogue, we had talked before about it needing a comma between your dialogue and your tag. And you will always capitalize the first word inside your dialogue. Here are a few other pointers for you to consider when you are writing your story. So every time a speaker changes, you're going to start a new paragraph. That means you need to go to a new line and indent. So an example of this is, Katie, if we go to the mall, Camilla said, you can buy a gift for your mom. Yeah, that sounds great, Camilla, Katie responded. So notice here, each time we have a new speaker, our line is indented. Another tip, capitalize the first word in quotation when it starts the next sentence. So notice how the first word inside our dialogue is capitalized. We will always do that. That's one of our dialogue rules. When writing the quotation in Speaker, if the words go to a new line, we're not going to indent. So for example, we have this sentence, Katie, if we go to the mall, Camilla said, you can buy a gift for your mom. Notice how Katie is indented, but mom is not. The word mom ran over to the next line, so we are not going to indent that. We are just going to indent the first part of our dialogue. After the dialogue, if the story continues, you are going to start a new paragraph. That means you will need a new indented line. An example of that is, Katie, do you want to go to the mall? Camilla asked. This line is indented. And then we have the two girls loved going to the mall together and would go almost every weekend to meet friends. Here we're continuing our story. So we're going to add another indentation here. So keep these in mind as you are working on your stories. And I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with. Have fun.